All right, you're watching the talk show with your host, DJ Gatsby. Thanks for tuning back in. I want to thank my guest last week, Monica Mathis-Stowe. She was here talking about her book, Where Did We Go Wrong? And also we had the DC Book Diva along with Eon Williams talking about his book, Secrets Never Die, and R.J. Champ talking about his book, A Beautiful Satan. Today we're in the studio with my friend, Glynda Gamble Linton. She's here talking about her latest book, Shoes on the Wrong Foot. And welcome to the talk show, Glynda.
Thank you for having me.
We've known each other for a while.
Yes.
We've been working together with your book for a couple of months. And it's nice to have you in the studio doing this interview.
It's exciting. Glad to be here.
Okay. Now, we did the print interview a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to throw all those answers out. We may ask some of the same questions that we did. So anybody who follows the blog, DJ Guest's Book Club, you may have different answers for some of those questions because some things have basically changed.
Yes.
First of all, I want you to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Well, my name is Glynda Gamble Linton, and I am from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Specifically, the city is Plantation, Florida. And I'm a mother of 3 sons, one deceased. One son currently is working in Indianapolis. The other one's home with me right now. And my daily life is I work representing workers in the workplace.
Okay. I want to mention your son. You said he works with the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Yes.
Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
Yeah. How's he liking it? How's that?
He's loving it. He's interning and working on getting into the minority coaching program. So he's loving it. He's working with the players every day, the coaches. He's doing all the operations, working with that department. So I get daily reports.
Daily reports.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to start right off talking about the book.
Okay.
We were talking about Cece and all the things that she goes through in this book. But before we do that, I want to ask you, when did you decide to be a writer? When did you decide that you wanted to write a book?
I've written all my life. As a kid, I used to write a lot of short stories. I wrote what I considered screenplays, and I lost all of that after Hurricane Andrew. Had a mountain of, material that I had put together, poems, and so I kind of put that to the side because then my work became, more demanding. Of course, being a parent took a lot of, my time because my boys were all in sports. So I kind of put it to the back burner, and I'm an avid reader, so I love reading. I read everything. So I was watching, I think it was Oprah, was talking about living your dream. Okay. And it just kind of came to me again, I would love to write. Because, every time she's promoting a book and it's doing great things, I'm like, why not me?
Okay,
why not me?
So you had did some writing years ago.
Years ago.
And all of your work was lost during Hurricane
Andrew in 1992.
In 92. So when did you actually start writing this particular book?
Early 2009.
2009.
And that was during the time I was listening to Oprah, and then I said, I'm going to start writing. So when I, was telling my sons that I was going to write a book, and my oldest son, Corey, he was really excited. He's like, he would tell his friends, oh man, my old girl going to write a book. He was very proud of that. And I'd probably gotten in maybe 2 chapters, and he was murdered. So at that point, writing or anything else wasn't a priority for me, and I was just trying to survive at that point. So a few months later, he came to me in a dream, and he was telling me that he was okay, and that he was happy, and then he asked me about the book. Yo, Mom, what about the book? Wow. So for weeks, I played that in my mind, and it came to me. He wants me to finish this book. So I picked it up and I just started back writing.
Okay, so that was a rough time for you losing your son at the time you started writing the book. But subsequently, his his memory or his spirit encouraged you to finish the book.
Yes.
That's great. That's a great story.
Yeah.
2009, you started writing. Now, how much of the book is based on your experiences or experiences of friends or family? I mean, how much of the book is real? How much of it is life experience or things, people you've known?
Well, the book is pretty much all about, it's just a compilation of everything because I represent a lot of people, a lot of women, and they have a lot of issues, and myself too. And I just gave them all to Cece.
Okay.
So
she's a fascinating young lady. We're going to talk about her.
Okay.
When we really get into the book. You're self-published, or
Yes.
you're self-published? What's the name of your publishing company?
Create Space. It's out of, I think it's Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay. You publish a book through them?
Yes.
And how is that working out? Because a lot of people who do self-publishing or use these third-party publishers have issues. How is that working out for you?
It was seamless. I had not one problem with them. Even up to picking the book cover, everything, no problems. They were very readily available whenever I had a problem or question. They were there.
Okay, and that's through editing, proofreading?
Well, I had an editor. I had a friend of mine that was a magazine publisher, and she edited the book for me.
Oh, that must have been cool.
Yeah.
How did she like the book?
She loved the book.
Okay.
And we did a lot of rewrites, and, it was kind of adultish, so I kind of toned it down.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, you wanted, there's some advantages to that. Because a lot of the language in some of the books, contemporary fiction, it does have a lot of questionable language.
Yes.
But, it's to the writer. People write about what they know, and they use their language to write the same language they use to speak.
Right.
The cover, the book cover, I'm going to get to the title first, but who did the cover?
Create Space. They have a graphic department that did the cover.
They designed the cover. And the name, because I've heard, I was explaining to one of the young ladies here today how you got the name, Shoes on the Wrong Foot, for the book, but now you can tell me again, how did you come up with the title?
Well, throughout my writing, Cece was going through her issues with, the characters in the book, and as she was, finalizing her divorce, and she's coming out of the courthouse, and she looks down and she says, you know what, love is as uncomfortable as wearing your shoes on the wrong foot, as she was walking out of the courthouse. And then I thought, that's a great title. So that's how.
So that quote is actually in the book.
Yes.
When she comes out of the courthouse. Okay. Who are some of the writers that you read? Who are some of the people who influence you?
I love Elin Harris. I loved his work. Terry McMillan, Janet Ivanovich. If it's a book around, I'm going to read it. So I don't have one specific artist or author.
All right. Yeah, you just mentioned quite a few people, very prominent writers that you just mentioned. Now, we're going to start with the book.
Okay.
Because then we're going to be breaking in a few minutes, and we'll come back later. But Cece, she has a friend named Charmaine, who speaks to her about relationships, getting a man, or dating someone.
Yes.
Okay. How does Cece get into this cycle where she dates these three guys? You're going to go into the book, but I wanted that. Where does she start at? Pick us up on Cece. She's, tell us something about her before we actually go into the book. Well,
Cece is motivated. She's looking to climb the corporate ladder. She's looking to make a better life for her family. And, we talked about this before, and I really started to think about Cece, the person in the book. And I find her to be more of a less confrontational, focus-driven in her work. But when it comes to her personal life, she allows others to dictate situations in her life.
In other words, she's very ambitious.
She's ambitious.
In her professional life, in her career. It's just with her relationships.
Right.
She's a little more...
She tends to let the man take the dominating role, and she don't speak up for herself.
Okay. Now, the book starts with Charmaine introducing her to, let me get this right, Tony?
No, she met Tony before. Charmaine, which is Dana, is her nickname in the book, introduces her to Devin, who she's going to marry. But Tony was the guy that she was going to be, well, she was dating, and things didn't work out. He turned out to be a complete psycho.
Well, you start with, she starts with Tony. Tony's the first guy who comes into her life in the book. Where is her head at? Where's her mindset? Is she coming out of a bad relationship? Is she just started dating again? Or where is she at when she meets Tony?
When she meets Tony, she's actually working, minding her own business, not looking for love. She comes across Tony. They start dating. Life is beautiful. He's treating her beautifully. You know, they're doing things together. As they get more into the relationship, then Tony starts to show his jealous side and insecurities.
Right, but Tony actually wants to marry her.
Yeah. When she accepts his hand in marriage, you know, his offer, he'd already started showing these tendencies that frightened her. And at that point, when she accepted, it was out of fear. It wasn't out of love.
Okay, so she never really wanted to marry Tony.
No.
She loved him. She thought she had a great relationship. He is the one who puts marriage on the table.
Yes.
And out of fear, you're saying, she reluctantly agreed.
Right.
And that marriage never takes place.
No. She finally builds up the courage to run the eve of the wedding.
And you said eve of the wedding. Was the wedding reception planned? The wedding was
planned? The wedding
planned,
was planned.
Limos, flowers.
Everything was
everybody
planned.
Invited. She was a runaway bride.
Yes.
So to speak. Wow. All right, we're going to get to the other characters, Devin and it's Carl?
Devin and Carl. Okay.
But we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more from best-selling author Glynda Linton talking about her huge book, very successful book, Shoes on the Wrong Foot. You're watching The Talk Show with DJ Gatsby. We'll be right back.